Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. Well, it looks like I was onto something with my video on Friday about there being a new Ben 10 announcement this week. I was a little off on what that announcement was going to be, as if you didn't watch that video, I was predicting that we would get the 6th series of Ben 10 announced sometime this week. It's a long story, watch that video in the card above if you haven't seen it yet. We did indeed get an announcement today regarding Ben 10. Earlier in the day, today on Tuesday, October 7th, we got the official confirmation through an article on bleedingcool.com that apparently the Ben 10 comic book series is coming in February of 2026, so not all that far away. And apparently it's going to serve as yet another reboot to the franchise, and it's being made by Man of Action. They are at the helm for this comic book series, so the original creators of Ben 10 are back once again, this time introducing a brand new iteration, a brand new timeline for Ben, but this time in comic book form. So there's a lot of information we have regarding this comic book series called Ben 10, I guess. They didn't really say if there's any suffix to it, Ben 10, something. They just really refer to it as Ben 10. But nevertheless, Joe Casey, one of the members of Man of Action, he is the one who seems to be spearheading this project and really heading up this comic book series. There's a statement here that reads, "For this inventive new phase of Ben 10, Casey, Carey, and company are taking a more straightforward, action-oriented approach." Okay, that's great to hear. However, this next line is a little concerning. "The beloved animated series exists for fans who grew up with it and for future generations to continue to discover it. This comic series will update the concept for modern audiences, while of course being drawn with the boundless potential of the comics form, opening up a wider range of tones to tap into, from the emotional to the surreal, across drama, comedy, and tragedies." So just to break down this first statement real quick, okay, from the get-go, sounds great. It's going to be more straightforward, it's going to be action-oriented, it's going to be probably much more of a linear story for Ben. We're going to be going across surreal, action, drama, comedy, tragedy. All sounds great. However, where my point of concern comes from here, and we'll probably get into this in a deeper video because I want to focus more so on the comic book series in this video, is they say the beloved animated series exists for fans who grew up with it and for future generations to continue to discover it. That very much sounds like this is the 6th series for Ben 10 coming in comic book form, and they're not working on an animated show. Which, if that's the case, that is really bad. But again, I don't want to focus too heavily on that in this video. We'll make another video discussing that in the future, but from the sounds of it, from that statement here, it sounds like this might be it for Ben 10, which again, that would be rather bad given we've been waiting 4 years and have been told multiple times that something's being worked on from people behind the scenes. If nothing's being worked on and this is it, that's not a good thing for the franchise. But again, we'll get into that in another video. We have a statement from Casey himself saying, "We're psyched to finally present a vision of Ben and his mythology in the manner and format that we've always wanted to see. This is basically a straight up superhero comic that's going to compete with every major series out there. This is the quote unquote ultimate or quote unquote absolute Ben 10. We guarantee this is the best Ben 10 that has ever been seen." So a lot of hype being thrown around this new Ben 10 comic book series. The fact they're saying this is the ultimate Ben or the absolute Ben is setting a rather high standard for it, because I would say that most people would say that Ben Prime, the original continuity, is peak Ben 10, and the fact that they're claiming that no, what we're making now is the ultimate absolute version of Ben 10, we guarantee this is the best Ben 10 has ever been, is really setting a high bar for them. I will say that in my opinion, and I've seen a few people online say this, I've seen excitement, right? I've seen people happy that this is happening. I, for one, am going to check this out, but I'm not going to lie to you guys, I am kind of more reserved for it and not as excited about it because it is a comic book series. I want to see a new Ben 10 on TV. I want to see a new animated take on this world. And while I think this comic book series is better than nothing, I think this might be something rather interesting, especially since it's a brand new continuity, which, let's be real, that's what they were going to do in the first place. They weren't going to make this a sequel series to Omniverse, although that was a little bit of a possibility that could happen. But to me, this always felt like it was going to be something brand new. We all want to see Ben 10 back on the TV. We all want to see Ben 10 back in our homes. We want to see Ben in a new weekly animated series, which it seems like we're not getting, at least for right now. But again, we'll get into that in a larger video. The last two quotes I have for you here are regarding the comic book series itself and what it's going to be about. Surprisingly, they gave us a lot of info here. Unfortunately, there is no first look at what Ben's going to look like in this series or anything regarding the series, which again is rather disappointing. Maybe we'll see something this weekend at New York City Comic Con, fingers crossed, but they can't wait too long since this is supposed to come out in February. We're in October. They only have, all of November, December, and January to actually market this thing and show it off, so we shouldn't have to wait too long to see what this actually looks like. But our next quote reads as follows. It all starts in issue number 1 with an updated origin, bringing fans both old and new up to speed on the incredible characters and mythos of Ben 10. As young Ben Tennyson first discovers the mysterious Omnitrix and the transformative powers it contains, readers will be pulled in deeper to how such an event would truly impact the world around it. From there, the Man of Action Brain Trust will recontextualize the greatest hits and coolest components of the previous iterations, honing it down to its most perfect presentation. They will expand and add to the recipe with a thoughtful approach to continuity in the vein of classic superhero comics, rewarding both grown-up fans of the original shows as well as younger readers who have never met Ben, his cousin Gwen, and Grandpa Max, fearsome foes like Vilgax, all the powerful aliens of the Omnitrix, and countless other fun parts of the world. So there's a lot to break down here. First and foremost, it would seem that we are returning to a young 10-year-old Ben Tennyson, which I'm not opposed to that, but I also would have liked them to do something fresh and brand new for Ben that we've never seen before. Like, I feel like if you look at a lot of these superhero movies that are out there, like for example, I had this conversation recently with a friend of mine a few months ago. If you look at Spider-Man in the MCU, for example, the Homecoming, No Way Home, and Far From Home trilogy, right? They skipped doing the origin story for Spider-Man because we all know what the origin story for Spider-Man is, right? We all know he gets bit by a spider, he gets superpowers, and bada bing bada boom, he's Spider-Man. We all know that. I feel like a lot of franchises have done that lately, including the Ben 10 reboot, where they straight up skipped the origin story because we all know how he gets his powers. I'm a bit curious to see what they do to mix things up in this regard. The fact that they're saying that this is a brand new mythos and readers will be pulled in deeper to how an event will truly impact the world around it. So we'll see if there's a different take on this event and him getting the Omnitrix that is the reason why they want to retell this story. But we are getting younger Ben again. I would prefer them doing an older Ben, someone who's maybe in his 20s or 30s, a different version of Ben that we've never seen before, but they're going back to 10-year-old Ben. I will say it seems like for whatever reason, Cartoon Network and Man of Action have this fixation now on 10-year-old Ben. Like, I know that's where it all started. That's where the reboot went. That's the path that they went down, and now that's where this comic book series is going. Again, I would like to see something brand new within the world, not another rehash of 10-year-old Ben, but the fact that this is something brand new in and of itself, I guess it makes sense that they want to start from the ground up and build a brand new world around the franchise of Ben 10. The other thing I want to say about this is from the second quote that we have there, where they're talking about recontextualizing the greatest hits and coolest components of previous iterations, honing it down to its most perfect presentation. Again, it really sounds like they're viewing this as the definitive edition of Ben 10, which I feel like is a rather dangerous thing to be doing, because when you have a beloved franchise such as Ben 10 with a large fan base attached to it, the fact that you're calling basically this new iteration of it better than anything that's come before it is, again, a rather high bar you're setting for yourself. It's a rather high goal to achieve, and I feel like going into it with those expectations can be very dangerous if the fans don't get an initial first impression that, hey, this is the best Ben 10 has ever been. To be honest, in my opinion, I don't think this is going to be the best Ben 10 ever. I mean, I could be wrong, but again, I feel like most people want to see Ben in the form of a new TV series, not in the form of a comic book series. So we'll see what happens there, but they said they're going to recontextualize and basically reiterate and rehash a lot of the former plot points and whatnot within the world of Ben 10. I can't really comment too far on that because that's typically what happens in any reboot. It really comes down to the execution of that. It really comes down to how they handle these plots and themes of Ben 10 and how they recontextualize it. They mentioned some characters returning like Gwen, Grandpa Max, and Ben. Obviously, those would have returned. Not surprising. Vilgax is coming back. What a shock. And all of the powerful aliens in the Omnitrix, which that makes me curious about. Are we going to see a brand new roster for Ben, right? That's one thing that I hope they do here. I know we're going to get our Heat Blast, our Forearms, our Diamond Head, right? Those are all going to be here in his initial roster of 10. But I hope they do like a brand new take on not only Ben himself and how he looks, but a brand new take on how these aliens look. The Ben 10 reboot, obviously, outside of making all of the aliens humanoid, which was rather weird decision that Cartoon Network enforced on Men of Action. Apparently they wanted it to be more friendly for kids, and they wanted all the aliens to look humanoid so they would be less scary for kids. I didn't know kids couldn't handle an orange dog on all fours, but that's neither here nor there. I hope they give these aliens a different look and Ben himself a different look, that he actually looks like a brand new version of the character as opposed to just another original continuity Ben, you know, with the classic black and white t-shirt. I hope we get a brand new look for Ben, a brand new Omnitrix for Ben. Again, not another original series Omnitrix. They did that for the reboot. Let's do something brand new entirely. And while yes, we're going to see some old aliens return to the roster, I want to see them do more with it and introduce brand new species to the Omnitrix, even more so than they did with the reboot. Yes, I know know the reboot had Gax. Yes, I know the reboot had Overflow. Yes, I know it had the little X alien whose name is escaping me at the moment. It had unique aliens in that iteration of Ben 10 like Shockrock, but I want to see more of that, right? I want this to be a brand new version of Ben with a brand new look, a brand new tone, a brand new aesthetic, and I feel like the way you have to do that is with a brand new roster of aliens. Of course, you're going to bring back some of the classics, but I think this needs to be distinctively different from what we've seen before, and I hope that's the path they go down. But yeah, for today, for now, we know that Ben 10 is coming back in the form of a brand new comic book series in February of next year, being 2026, and to me, for now, until we hear otherwise, it really seems like this is the 6th series, for now at least. We'll talk about that again at length in another video, but let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about the fact that Ben 10 is coming back finally with a brand new iteration, a brand new reboot, but it's in the form of a comic book series? Do you have any issues with them doing a comic book series before doing the next TV show for Ben, or do you like the avenue they're taking here, and what are you hoping to see from this comic? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.